Welcome to Top 10 Sports Media. Hey there, sports fans. In this video, we're taking a look at top virtual tennis games. Are you one of those people who is attracted in tennis as your sport? Well, tennis is a sport that appeals to many people. Even if you're not a tennis pro, you can take your frustrations out on anything from a rectangular white racket to an uncanny valley image of a renowned tennis ace due to video games. And this is a good thing for a lot of people. However, tennis video games are few and far between, but certainly there are a few decent ones. Following is the list of top all-time tennis video games. So sit back and check this out. First in line, we have Wii Sports. You must have tried your hand at this game at some point, right? People have forgotten exactly how fantastic Wii Sports was because of all the enthusiasm surrounding the Switch, and Nintendo's new system has had such a good debut year. The truth is, with all the hype surrounding the Switch and Nintendo's new console having such a successful launch year, aside from bowling, tennis was one of the better versions of available motion-controlled sports, and this game was momentous in how much attention it captured from people of all ages. Whoever you play with, you need to reconnect that Wii and start swinging that Wii mode again. Engage your parents, involve your grandmother, but whoever you play with, do it! Oh, and if you're in the mood for some genuine excitement, pick up the Wii Sports Resort for the Wii U and play some table tennis with the motion plus attachment. This will recreate the sense of wielding a real paddle as closely as possible. The next online tennis game in the lineup is Virtua Tennis 4. Clearly a champ among many of the best tennis games ever created, Virtua Tennis 4 not only improved the long-running game plan's attributes and gave us the most recent rundown of players, but it also got the balls to such an exception as to offer a 3D interpretation of the game, provided that you had the appropriate TV and glasses. This game is without a doubt a victor among the best tennis games ever developed. Despite the fact that the level of advancement that most of us have in our houses these days, this was a mind-boggling sight to view in 2011, and it really did function. The greatest thing that regardless of whether you've put away your more advanced gaming systems, this one received a decent PS Vita version as well, so it could be incredibly simple to play today. At the same time, it's also accessible on PC, Xbox 360, and PS3 platforms. Coming up at number 3, we have Super Tennis. There are several reasons why people like playing older video games. One of the reasons is that victorious outcomes often provide more satisfaction. Instruction manuals were often included with older video games like Super Tennis. It's just one more thing that we wish were different with games like this. The level of polish that was there in Super Tennis for its time makes it one of our go-to choices among tennis video games. It was first released to the public in 1991 and included characters with varying gameplay approaches. The experience is made even better by minute touches like ball runners who retrieve balls that have been caught in the net. Top Spin 4 comes up at number 4 on our list. When we talk about games that are no longer produced, we should mention that the major rival to Virtua Tennis was discontinued by its publisher, 2K, in 2011, and that it had been available until that year. Top Spin provided a really unique angle from which to experience tennis, despite the fact that it was never able to match the success of Virtua Tennis. While the other games in the field provided an arcade-style experience, which considering Sega's history in the arcade industry should not come as a surprise, Sega. Top Spin provided a more cerebral take on the theme. You would need to plan for the next shot and always be one step ahead of the competition. You were supposed to preload the shot as the ball came towards you, which provided you with a great deal of control over the direction in which the ball would go. We feel as though the Top Spin series as a whole is vastly underrated, and we can't wait to get our hands on the upcoming Tennis World Tour. This game was developed by a number of the same people who worked on the Top Spin 4 game, and it is scheduled for release in 2018 for the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC platforms. In the meanwhile, we have Mario Tennis Aces on the list. There have been a number of exceptional games released under the Mario Tennis Games label, one of the most acclaimed of which being Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube. Recently, Nintendo has brought back their epic take on the game, which includes a fresh, out-of-the-box new narrative mode replete with some light RPG elements. These additions are intended to make up for the fact that Mario Tennis Ultra Smash on the Wii U was somewhat uninteresting in experience. The presentation of the game on the adaptable Nintendo Switch focuses most of its multiplayer mode, which has a large cast of playable characters and a variety of locations to explore. When you add to that a plethora of other stuff, such as excellent straight rules mode for tennis purists, you are left with a knowledge of the game that is really enjoyable to play. Tennis for Two is next on our list. Because it was arguably the first video game ever produced, Tennis for Two deserves particular attention for its accomplishment. You might believe that Pong was the first game ever made, but the truth is that Tennis for Two was released many years earlier. If it weren't for games like Pong and Tennis for Two, the inclusion of tennis in video games would not have happened at all. Tennis for Two is played from the perspective of being on the sidelines of a tennis court, in contrast to Pong, which is based on table tennis. Although the screen was just 5 inches in size, the excitement of playing the very first video game was indescribable. Last, but definitely not on the list, we have Rockstar Games presents Table Tennis. It's possible that this is unethical, but bear with us here. Rockstar, a company that is not often renowned for producing sports video games or even table tennis video games, astonished everyone when they announced this game in March 2006 and then released it in May of the same year. Even more shockingly, it turned out to be an incredible amount of fun. This isn't your typical tennis, but we just had to add it, since it's so bizarre to think that anything like this could really take place. It isn't easy to get the hang of, but it's well worth the effort if you can. Imagine for a moment if Rockstar, in the midst of all the excitement and fanfare surrounding their announcements on Red Dead Redemption 2, suddenly unveiled a volleyball game. This came out of nowhere, but there's no denying that you should give it a go nonetheless, since it is really entertaining. So that concludes the top virtual tennis games video. If you have any further questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Are you looking for more sports-related videos? Of course, you don't want to miss our excellent and exciting videos. And be sure to check out our other videos for more great content like this. And be sure, by the way, to mash that like and subscribe button. That's it for today. Until next time.